Well, he wrote the book. He's the author. It's a dynamite book. He's got a new book coming out, by the way. And we're going to have him on the radio program because he's talking about everything that is going on. Joe goes after him, and he nails it the way it is. So, folks, I want to present to you Colonel Joe Meissner.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Pastor said I could have 2 minutes. Now, you give a lawyer 2 minutes, and you know how long it's going to be. But I promise I will stick around 2 minutes. I've got 5 points I want to make in my little brief presentation to you here. First point is to thank you all for coming. And I want to make certain that you understand that you really are, as I call it, warriors. You're warriors for life out there protecting the unborn children and helping pregnant women. Put them both together. So I want to thank all of you for coming. Second point. See, I got through the first point there in like 30 seconds, didn't I, Fred? I want to get to the second point, and we've already mentioned it. What's this?
Hold it this way, Joe. There you go.
Can you tell? That's Michael's book. Yep. All right, and I'd really like to encourage you to buy a copy for $20. I met Michael maybe a month or so ago, picked up his book, and I saw the title, and I said, welcome to Soviet America. What's this going to be like? And then I got into it. It is well written,
Amen.
Well researched, and well reasoned. So I think of any book that you're going to read this year, this ought to be at the very top of your list. Fred, that's point number 2. Okay, 3 more to go. Third point. I've written a book, and you heard the pastor mention it. By the way, Pastor Sanders and I, you know when we met each other? You know when the Psalms were written by the Lord? Pastor Sanders and I were there watching the Lord as he inspired us. So that just shows you a little bit about how ancient we are.
Is that Moses or David's?
David's. Anyway, the other thing about Pastor Sanders, he and I spent many an afternoon and morning out there in front of the abortion clinic up at Severn Shopping Center. And Fred and his wife were there, and a number of others here were there too. That place eventually closed, but there must be at least 20,000, 30,000 babies that were killed there and found, instead of life, found death at a medical clinic. That was actually a medical building. But thank God that place is now closed. Anyway, the third point I want to mention, and that is, Pastor Sanders has already mentioned this to you. It's my book called The Green Berets and Their Victories. And it's all about a great group of soldiers that I had the privilege to serve with in Vietnam. And there was much work they did over there, good work. Not just simply being good soldiers and defending people, but good work in helping the villagers, helping them with wells, schools, and other things that assisted them. And I'll tell you this about the Vietnamese people, and I've worked a lot with them in the last 30, 40 years. Vietnamese people did not want communism. That was the last thing they wanted. Those were people, they had their own fields. Their fields were part of their property, went back in their history. Why should they want to see their own rice fields collectivized? Well, anyway, the Vietnamese people today, they're united, which is what they want, and they've gotten a little bit of economic freedom. 1986, the communists suddenly decided, hey, communism isn't working. The poor country of Vietnam, which always turned out enough rice so that it could feed its people and even export rice, found that it wasn't growing enough rice for its people. Why? Because the farmers weren't stupid. Send them out, work in a collectivized field, get paid nothing, get paid the same thing as somebody else who wasn't working. Vietnamese, they may speak a language that's a little hard to learn, but boy, they're not stupid. So they just stopped working. And in 1986, the communists actually came in one province to the farmers and said, look, we can't fake the rice numbers anymore. We need the rice this year or we're going to be in trouble. So what we'll do for you farmers, you grow all the rice you want, just give us the amount that we need for the government, and any extra rice you can go sell. Well, by God, did they turn out rice. And the other governors of the other provinces, who are all communists, said, hey, that's an idea that they then adopted. So there's a little bit of economic freedom today in Vietnam. But the political, well, that's something still a long way to go. Anyway, this book is about the Green Berets, and I have, and this is point number 4, I have 2 copies. One is the hard book, and the other is soft cover. Soft cover, $20. Hardcover, $39.95. Okay, so anybody, if you'd like to buy, I'm right here to sell. And now we get to the fifth and final point. Am I doing okay? Am I getting there? All right, fifth and final point. The pastor mentioned this. I've just finished a book, took me a year and a half to write, and about 1,000 hours, and it's called The Legal Warriors. Now, do you think that's about lawyers? No. Lawyers aren't good legal warriors. You know who good legal warriors are? They're the people that are really out there fighting for rights, their own rights, the rights of the unborn, the rights of women, the rights of the elderly. Those are the legal warriors. And so part of my book is about those legal warriors out there trying to fight for rights. It's also about all my other clients who fight for rights in areas of the environment. And what we have is a Christian form of environmentalism. You gotta be real careful. There's some people, when they say they're environmental, you may think, well, gee, that's good. And then you suddenly inquire what they're really about and you find out it's not so good. So anyway, in my book, Christian environmentalism. Another part of it is people fighting for their rights on utilities, also for people fighting for their rights in terms of immigration. Book, Legal Warriors. It's being printed right now.
Hold
and I
it
hope to
steady.
have the book in the next
Yeah, right there for the camera.
30 days. Legal Warriors. There's an artist that did my cover showing a legal warrior. And the book itself, it's only 793 pages. Lee, is that a lot of pages? 793? And 50 of the pages, by the way, are photographs of different legal warriors I've known. Okay, 5 points, and I'm going to sort of fudge just a sixth one. I work with a clinic, by the way, that tries to help people with income tax problems. Anybody here ever encountered an organization called the IRS? Yes, every year we encounter them. And by the way, there are good people working in the IRS. I know them. But just like every other institution in our society, there are also bad people in there that do very, very bad things. So we constantly have to keep up the fight. But if you've got a problem related to IRS or income tax, this literature over there free, pick it up, call us, we'll help you, the help is free.
Hold it steady to the camera, Joe.
If you find that IRS is actually after you, and you'll know that, by the way, they send you these nice letters. It's hard to read them, but if you get one of those letters, don't throw it away. That's not a good idea. Go after, fight, and a lot of times you'll find somebody that's good in the IRS and they'll help you get through the problem. Okay, 5 points and an extra one. And thank you very much, and it's really good to see all of you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm gonna